Good morning, it's Seay from Seay Real Estate here in Richmond, Virginia. And this week I want to talk to you about proper pricing when you put your house on the market. I've talked about this before, but I want to approach it from a little bit of a different angle this morning, in that how you price your house oftentimes is dictated by the market you find yourself in. So the tried and true way to go about pricing a house is to look at recent sales, comparable sales, if you will, the same information an appraiser is going to look at some point in the process, and look at what similar properties have sold for and see how they compare to yours. And if you have something they don't have, you should be able to get more for your house. If they had some features that you don't have, well, perhaps they're worth a little bit more. And that's still the foundation of how to decide on the value of your home when you go to put it on the market. But in a market like we find ourselves in today, spring of 2018, there is a lot more demand than there is supply. And there's another critical factor that plays into pricing your house that doesn't play into it so much. Well, I guess it does. It always plays into it, but it's a factor that oftentimes gets overlooked, and that is what's currently on the market. What do buyers have to pick from that hasn't sold? So these aren't comparable sales where you can look and see, well, this is how much they got. This is taking a direct look at your competition. Who and what are you competing with? And what we find in today's market is there's, in many sectors, not much competition, just nothing on the market. And this really does create a situation where you as a seller can push the envelope, if you will. You can go a little bit above what recent sales might indicate, knowing that there's nothing else for people to pick from. This is what causes values to rise, and we still have to be aware of the fact that an appraiser is going to have to try to find some comparable sales to justify whatever you sell it for. And when you push it up, like I'm suggesting, sometimes appraisers have a hard time justifying whatever value you raise it to. But appraisers also recognize when they're in a period of appreciation where home values are increasing, and oftentimes they'll be able to justify the price that you have just sold your house for. So don't let your real estate agent, and don't you forget to look at what's for sale, what the competition is. If there's not much to pick from in your price range, could be a green light to push the envelope, go a little higher than you were anticipating, and oftentimes that'll work. Now, if you're a buyer and you're fighting other buyers to buy houses, understand that you might go to a house, love the house, your realtor might say, well, here's the recent comps and nothing is that high. And you might say, well, I'm not going to pay that then. Well, there's a good chance you'll lose out to someone who will. So you don't want to do anything silly, but do recognize when you're in a market of increasing values, and if you really want a particular house and you're serious about buying it, you oftentimes will have to come to the point as a buyer where you are willing to go higher than what recent comparables are. And you hope, of course, that trajectory will continue, the values will continue to increase, and what you feel like is paying too much right now will very soon look like a good deal. So anyway, just a little bit on that today, the importance of paying attention to what's on the market, what's out there for people to pick from, and how that influences what you pay for a house or what you ask for your house. I'm Chad with Seay Real Estate in Richmond, Virginia. Have a great week.